Okay, so did you want us to start questioning you, or?
No, it's just I don't know. You can lead us into your show, and we'll just kind of keep it going, and we'll see where we get.
Oh, okay.
Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon! Bacon is my... Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon is my...
Hey!
Hi,
How you doing today, bud?
I'm here.
I am also here.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday indeed.
Happy Monday.
Or Monday, yeah.
Tuesday.
Whatever day you're...
Whenever you're listening to it.
Yeah. Happy your day.
It's Bacon Day.
It is Bacon Day.
And that's a great day.
Yeah, that's always a great day because bacon makes everything better, as you know.
Yeah.
So today we've got a fun interview with a couple of ladies.
It's
it's not an interview.
It's not an interview. It's really like a true crossover episode. So if you
It's our first one of these.
Yeah. If you were to come over here, you can hear about Bacon is my podcast, but you can also learn about Honest AF show. But if you went to Honest AF show, you can also learn about Bacon is my podcast, which makes it synergy, which makes it all one episode. And it's all one episode. It's on two different feeds. We actually got the pleasure of hanging out with Barbaranne Wylde and Daniella Clarke, the hosts of Honest AF show.
Yeah, super cool conversation with them. Like, I'm a huge Guns N' Roses fan, so knowing who Gilby Clarke is and being a fan of Use Your Illusion records, and then also Zakk Wylde being such a huge guitar inspiration, just incredible. I've seen Black Label so many times. I saw Ozzy with Zakk as well, and we don't even really talk about them.
Yeah,
with the lovely ladies, but it was just cool. Kind of there's just a few little conversations that we had about them.
Right.
With them were super fun, and just having the conversations in general. Anytime we can talk to people, it's probably annoying as much as I say it now, but anytime we can talk to people that are passionate and doing something they love, it's just inspiring and it's cool.
Yeah.
And I dig it. That's why I like doing this.
Yeah. That's why we do it. And this is a really cool, the very first crossover episode we've ever done.
Yeah.
And there is a Gilby Clarke cameo.
Yeah. Quick cameo.
Just like there was a Caleb Shomo cameo.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to hang out with them, hear what their show is all about, hear what our show is all about. So
join us, join them. You're about to hear it, and hope you guys enjoy it. But before we do that, we do want to do a special thanks.
Some bills.
Special thanks. We have some new sponsors for you guys to check out. We have Bill's Wild Soda. Now, if you guys are part of our Patreon, you saw us do the tasting of horrible sodas. This is not that.
No.
This is not that. This is Bill's Wild Soda. DrinkWildBills.com. You can have some truly delicious sodas. We're going to be having some and showcasing some on the show very soon. If you go to the site, again, drinkwildbills.com, you do the promo code BACON, you get 10% off your order. Super excited to have them because I love great tasting sodas.
They're pretty great. They're pretty great. Also, Sports Legacy Sups, the former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, Nick Aldis, started his little supplement company, and they've got some really cool things to help with cognitive health and
cognitive
health. Sorry,
that's all right.
And
I can correct 2 words, and the rest of them that's
right. And then also some sleep supplements and whatnot. So they've got some new things going on to help with the brain, not just the muscle.
Yeah.
Because the brain is the most powerful muscle of them all.
It is. I think the tongue, actually. But the brain is definitely important.
And if you use Bacon Pod as your promo code, you can get 10% off.
Absolutely. And finally, of course, we always want to shout out our boys at Poddex, our boys and girls at Poddex. And always you can go there and you can grab your pod decks, you can grab some swag, grab some cool t-shirts, stuff like that. Promo code BACON, 10% off. For all of our other affiliate links and stuff, you can go to baconismypodcast.com as always. And once again, we want to do a special thank you to our patrons over on patreon.com/baconismypodcast.
Yes.
Where we have different episodes, tastings, all that kind of stuff, ad-free things. So if you ever want to check that out, please check that out. And for all of you that are part of that family, thank you guys so much for making this run. Now, Honest AF.
It is the official. No. It's not just.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
It's Bacon AF Show Podcast.
The graphics.
The crossover that you didn't know you needed.
Cool graphics coming like right when it starts.
On your fitness journey, extraordinary results require extraordinary action. Your training and quality of nutrition is definitely key, but adding a well-developed nutritional supplement protocol will push your results to the next level. And that's where Legacy Sports Nutrition comes in. Legacy Sports Nutrition believes that everything you want to achieve in life can be aided by optimizing human performance. All of their formulas have been professionally developed for both men and women and are made to the highest quality standards. Legacy Sports Nutrition is a brand founded and operated by athletes who have been performing at world-class levels for decades. And when I say athletes who perform at world-class levels, I truly mean it. This is NWA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Aldis's company, so you know these items are absolutely championship quality. Go to LegacySups.com and use the promo code BACONPOD and you'll receive 10% off your order. Once again, that's LegacySups.com. Use the promo code BACONPOD for 10% off your order. Set your goals, push your limits, and leave your legacy.
Okay, well, thanks for having us on your show.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
So we, Barb and I are always, we just kind of shoot the shit when we first start our show. So we'll shoot the shit with you.
Love it. That's our entire show.
That's our show too. Yeah, we never rehearse. We don't have anything scripted. We're just, we save it for the podcast.
That's what we do too.
The only consistency is that we have whiskey.
Right. That's better.
Wait, what is your brand of whiskey that you guys drink?
We're Jameson drinkers.
Oh, Jameson. Yeah.
There you
So
go.
my husband Gilby's a big whiskey fan too. So he drinks a lot of. He likes Bullet. He likes Macallan.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like Macallan and Bullet as well. Jameson's cost effective. You can get a really big bottle
Yeah.
for relatively inexpensive, which is
Good for starving
our
artists.
budget.
Yeah.
It's the budget
There you
for the
go.
show. Our budget for the show is the whiskey. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a similar budget. Ours is more, we have champagne taste on a beer budget, but we're good.
Yeah, we do beauty products. But oh my God. So this weekend, I don't know what you guys have been up to, but I went to a motorcycle festival yesterday called Born Free. Have you guys heard of that?
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
heard
yeah,
of that. Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. So my husband's a biker and as well as a guitar player. And so yesterday they had like a big biker fest down in Orange County. And I drove out there and met up with him and the boys. And we got to walk around and check out all these bikes. They always do there's always a bike show and a bunch of bike builders show off all their bikes. And they have a kind of like a contest. And usually there's a lot of bands playing. Yesterday, they didn't really have a lot of bands. I don't know if it was because of COVID or whatever, but oh my God, it was so hot there. It was 100 degrees. We're all walking
Where was
around,
it, Daniella?
totally sweating. It's in Orange County.
Oh.
It's at some big kind of open field in Orange County. They used to have where you could camp out because it's a 2-day event. It starts Friday night, goes on till today. Till the end of today. So we went once and we all camped out and stayed for the whole weekend. It was a blast. But I think because of COVID, they haven't been doing that.
Yeah.
So we just rode down and just hung out, walked around, checked out all the bikes. And Gilby's like, it's the funniest thing because when you go with him, it's kind of a nightmare because they have like all these like cool booths with like vintage clothes or vintage helmets, leather jackets, t-shirts. There's tons of cool booths. There's food, there's drinks, there's a lot of things to do and see there, but you can't even walk. It's like going to NAMM with the guys. You can't walk one step without them getting stopped. He's like the freaking mayor there.
Was he playing?
It's like
as well?
Sturgis.
No, he wasn't playing. He was just walking
Just
around.
hanging out?
But everybody knows him in that community.
Right.
So he gets stopped a lot. And Gilby's like the friendliest guy on earth. And he just talks to everybody. So you're just kind of standing there going, okay, they're talking about biker parts. Let me think about some shoes and makeup. And
you should text me and we could talk about the latest facial mask that's happening or something.
Yeah, seriously. I'm like standing there the whole time. So eventually I just kind of go, okay, you know what? I'm just going to walk off and go see a couple booths. And then he catches up to me and he's like, where'd you go? I was looking for you. I'm like, well, you're standing there talking to everybody. So, but it was cool. There was a lot of really, really cool bikes, and it's gotten really big. Like, it started out as a small festival, and now it's just grew and grew and grew, and it's huge. There were so many bikes there. It was crazy.
Do you guys ride?
I have. I don't currently, and I will again when I don't live in New York.
Oh yeah.
And I can not have winter.
Yeah. But it was funny because like the night before, every Friday night, or not every Friday night, but we try on Friday nights to kind of go to, there's this place where we live. It's like an old burger place called Bob's Big Boy. I don't know if you guys know it.
Yeah.
But on Friday nights, they have a classic car and bike night. So we try to go to that and kind of hang out and check out all the bikes and the cars and stuff. And, it's really fun. We just walk around. We get to know a lot of the folks out there too. But Friday night, Gilby was like, well, I'm going to ride my Panhead to the Born Free show. So I want to take it out tonight first. And so we rode it out to Bob's and he kept breaking down.
Oh no.
It's the worst.
He kept breaking down. And so he would like pull over the side of the road, fix it. And then he just went home and worked on it and got it ready for Born Free. So, and he's getting ready to go back out there today, but I told him I can't go because, well, I'm doing Bacon is my podcast. So
there you go.
Do you guys ride?
Yeah. Well, on the back, just on the back.
Okay.
I don't. My husband has a fake biker band and he's all about motorcycles, but he won't get on one. So I don't, but I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to ride on one of Gilby's one day because I'm constantly, Zach has been given tons of choppers and really cool builds have been made for him, but he's just like, oh, I'm going to spill. We live on 10 acres and we've got like a dirt road, and Ozzy bought our oldest son a dirt bike for his like 12th or 13th birthday, and Zach got on it. Granted, Zach was drinking in those days, and he got on the dirt bike and spilled in about 3 seconds. And he's like, I can't do that because what about my hands? So he does not ride, so I don't really get a chance to. But I love the whole culture, and I love bikes, and I have dreams about us like taking a bike up, nice leisurely ride up to Santa Barbara and having like an incredible lunch. And
I have those dreams too, Barb. I want to take rides with you and Zach.
We'll just have to go in the car.
See, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking you drive. Zach in a sidecar.
Yeah.
Zach would
sidecar.
That's hysterical.
Not bitch, sidecar. He's in the back, and you're more stable that way. He doesn't have to worry as much about his hands. I think Zach in a sidecar is money. I think
Zach being your Robin would be awesome.
The visual is killing me.
The visual. That would be amazing.
It's so funny.
So funny.
It's so funny
with his kilt on.
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
Of course.
Yeah,
And
that-
so
Oh
funny
my
that-
God. Somebody, speaking of like the kilt blowing in the wind, somebody sent a photo the other day. A photographer literally got right underneath him and took a photo of him on stage in his kilt. And I was like, Zach, that is so not ladylike. He's like, you know what's crazy? I look like a Ken doll. Like I have nothing there because he, ropes everything up in these little tiny underwear. And
Right.
I laughed so hard. I'm like, well, you know what? You're gonna have to make some ladies happy and maybe a few dudes and
Yeah,
start going commando under
Gotta
that
go
kilt.
commando. I wore a
Yeah.
kilt on stage. I wore a dress on stage once and a kilt on stage once. And with the dress,
Awesome.
I did wear underwear, and I immediately regretted it. And then with the kilt, I wore none, and I was like, "This is the best show ever."
Yes,
Very
I did,
freeing, right?
Amazing, yeah.
I did a skirt dressed as a
Absolutely.
cheerleader, or I did a show dressed as a cheerleader in a skirt, and legit, it was like the most freeing experience. I'm like, oh man, this
Yeah,
is
you had a
awesome.
short skirt. That was good.
I did.
I was Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz, so I had a long dress. So I really could have gone commando under that because I had ruby slippers on. I was giving high kicks, and
Yeah,
it would have been great.
Isn't
yeah, that would have been.
Isn't the rule that you're supposed to go commando under a kilt?
Yes.
I believe
Is
it
it?
is, and that's why I did, because I was like, well, I don't want to offend anybody
When in
of
Rome.
heritage, like I don't want to mess with
Yeah.
anything. So
Right.
I got to do it.
It was so funny too, Daniela, when you brought up about like you talking to people, like Gilby getting pulled aside and talking to people and stuff like that. So like my wife Jen, she always talks about that like at shows. So it'll be a night of a show, and before we go, she's like, "All right, so are you gonna try and hang out a little bit, or is this gonna be one of those things where you're the mayor and you're talking to
Yeah.
literally everybody?" And I was like, I'm gonna try. And the other thing that she hates is leaving. She hates leaving.
Because
She's like,
don't, yeah.
because she goes, okay, we're ready to go. Okay, I'll wait in the car. I'll see you in a half hour.
Oh, that
I'm like,
sounds like
no,
me.
No, come on.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say my Irish goodbyes, and then that's it. And then 45 minutes later,
Is that
she's-
what it is? Is it the Irish thing? Because Zach is the worst.
Oh,
Oh
No,
my God.
Irish goodbyes is just like looking at the back of the room and going, and then leaving.
Right.
Oh, well, I do that.
It's
That's
the
me.
complete
You
opposite.
don't
Mwah,
say
mwah,
anything.
mwah. See you guys later.
Nothing to anyone.
Yeah.
You just peace out.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
great.
I have. Yeah, you have to thank the venue owner. You gotta thank the bouncer.
Yeah.
All the
So
bands
are
that you
you-
played with and shit. So
Are you guys both married?
I'm not. He is.
I am.
Okay, so check this out. So it is mine and Gilby's. We're coming up next month on our 30-year wedding anniversary. And
Wow!
Congratulations.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. We've both been together with our husbands for 155 years. We
We're
don't
married
want
a year behind you.
Yeah.
We'll be 30 in 2022.
A
Yeah.
combined 60 years.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I did. I just had my 10-year.
Oh, you did?
July,
Oh, congratulations. That's a big one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been with my girl for 8 years.
Well, what's your problem there?
Yeah. Why haven't you put an eye on it? What's
You know
going
what?
on?
Honestly, neither of us are real big fans of like marriage and weddings and stuff. And
Oh,
so
you guys are modern.
We're
I'm
both
not a
kinda
big
like,
fan of weddings. I'm not
Yeah,
a big fan of weddings.
We've talked about it, and we were like, when we get to a point where we're going to like buy something and it's going to help us on taxes or anything like that, then we'll just do it. But until then, like there's this romanticized idea about like, hey, every day I pick you, like every
Yeah.
single day I get to choose, and we both really kind of dig that.
So wait. So if you're married, you're not really there by choice.
Well,
You're-
not always, not always.
You're there under duress.
I know quite a few people that are married that are there
Did you hear
because
that?
it's easier than getting out of it.
That's so funny.
Oh.
Zach always says to me that you didn't read that in the marriage contract. That's in the contract. That's his
right.
like line to me all the time. You got to rub my shoulders. It was in the contract. You
It's
just,
in the
you initialed it.
You overlooked.
That's funny.
See, I've heard that's actually in the living together contract. That doesn't even have
okay.
anything to do because
You just live together. You get none of
Right.
those benefits.
No, you
Oh.
have no contract. Remember, no contract.
Right.
She's
I don't
a
have to
free
rub her
agent.
feet? So I don't have to rub her feet. I
No.
thought I did.
Oh, whoa. Well,
This
you
whole
need to rub
time.
her feet. She doesn't need to rub your shoulders.
Oh yeah, that's fine. You know what? I did massage school, so I'm the rubber.
Right.
Get out.
I'm the rubber.
Nice.
Oh, I need to
Sure.
send Zach to massage therapy school.
He's never given me the massages. He's
Worth
given
it.
me pressure points, and I hate him for it.
But it works.
But it works.
Wait,
It
so
does
you
hurt,
guys-
though.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right, Jimsy. You think grilling season is over?
Almost, right? Or-
No.
No.
Grilling season is never over because of
Okay.
a new sponsor of ours,
Ooh, what is it?
grillyourassoff.com.
I love the name already.
Yeah. It's a veteran-owned company that sells spices, barbecue sauces, cool swag, even cookbooks.
Oh, you know what? You sent me a link to that. I checked it out. That was awesome. They had some cool recipes right on their site. That was pretty awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's for free. But now that they're a sponsor, they've decided that if you use the promo code BACON, you get 10% off your order.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
ready. I'm definitely ordering some spices. They had a couple that looked really killer.
Yeah, and it's really, there's so many different selections that there's really a spice for everybody. The guys that are like heat heads, and even the people that just want something subtle, delicious, sweet, whatever it is, they've got something for everybody.
Awesome. Did we order any? Did we have any coming?
We've got some coming,
Nice.
and we're going to do some tasting episodes over on the Patreon
awesome. So
with
stick
a little bit of
around.
grill your ass off stuff.
Stick around, everyone, because once we get those in, we're going to taste them. We're going to go through them, and then we're going to let you know what we think, and maybe give you some choices that we would kind of go for.
So once again, head over to grillyourassoff.com, use that promo code BACON, and get 10% off.
Sweet.
Hey, this is Ring of Honor's Beer City Bruiser, and when I'm cracking some cold ones and throwing them back, I love to take in Bacon is my podcast, and so should you.
So I
Oh,
have
yeah.
a question.
Yes.
So we're trying to figure out what we should do on our anniversary, like what we could do that would be really fun. What is like your guys' idea? I want to hear a man's perspective of what your idea would be of like a really romantic getaway with your lady or your dude, whatever.
Well,
Whatever floats your boat.
so my lady is different than a lot of ladies that I know. She is a singer and guitar player in a punk rock band. She is she tours all over the country as well. So it's very similar to like your guys' situation. Like
Yeah.
she's all over the place, but she's not really into what would be, I guess, typically lady-like things, which I don't really know what those are, to be honest.
Right.
But she tells me all the time, she's like, I don't care about that shit. You know, like she's like that. So for her and I, the things that we love to do together are like, if we were going to throw a party, we'd try and think of a way to like mess with our guests and make everybody dress up a certain way, or make everybody
fun.
like, so that would be a thing. Like she would be like, let's do an anniversary party, but let's make everybody cosplay as Avengers. And it would be like, yeah, let's do
That's
that.
cool.
And let's bring everybody in. And it would have to be a situation like that. So we would like that. For us is fun. And then also like, we love going to shows and going to see bands and everything. So there would be a music element to it.
Cool.
So it would kind of be wrapped up in that. We'd make a theme. It would be a theme of some kind, and we'd make everybody dress like it and everybody do it, and everybody would have to do that for the party. And that would be super fun for us. And whether
Sounds like your original wedding, Daniela. You had
I
a
was-
theme going on.
I was just thinking that.
did you really?
Yeah, Gilby and I got married to. We decided, because I'm Jewish and he's Italian, that we would have a mafia themed wedding. So we got married.
That's awesome.
We did a whole Godfather thing, and everybody
That's so
got
cool.
Really.
dressed up, and yeah, it was hilarious. And
That's
So
Maybe you should reenact that,
I was
Daniela. We
gonna
should
say.
have you renew your vows.
Renew your
and
vows.
You could do Godfather 3.
that would
30 years.
There you go.
that would be perfect. Oh my God, that would be perfect. But yeah,
And then like
maybe we
for
should do that.
for me, like I just celebrated 10 years, and just working the grind and the kids and the dogs and the this and the that. I literally we just went somewhere else And
Yeah.
now COVID just makes things weird.
A
but
little
like
complicated, yeah.
Yeah. But we went to somewhere that was sun, and if you put a flag, there's chairs, and you put a flag up, and somebody will go, what do you need? And it's like, oh, okay, cool.
That's my kind of vacation.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. So it's really like, you wake up, you go to the pool,
Yes.
you have something to drink, you have lunch, you go back to the hotel room, you do stuff, and then you take a nap.
You like iron? You fold things?
Iron and fold things. Then you take a nap, which is very important when you're on vacation. Napping is the best. And then then you go out at night on the beach, eat on the beach.
Yeah, I like that.
I like
Beach
that
would be a
too.
thing. My girlfriend's extremely like nautical. She loves anything around the ocean. She's absolutely in love with, and it all stems from her love of Jaws.
Yes.
So,
Oh God, Zach's obsessed with Jaws. I know
she's
all the trivia that Jaws ever had. You know that there is an Instagram. There is an Instagram for all Jaws things.
Yes, I do.
Zach shows it to me on a daily basis.
Of course he does.
She's on it too.
Well, Jaws was actually based on a town like around here.
Yes.
Yeah, Amity Island is based on Amityville, New York.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually based on out east.
Yeah.
But they took it from that. But yeah, so that's a big. We would do a Jaws theme.
Probably.
There you go.
She has two Jaws tattoos.
Yeah.
Wow, it's commitment.
Yeah. Well, one of them.
Those are some good ideas, Daniella.
There's some good ideas there. I mean, we're trying to figure it out. We've been talking about. I've been wanting to go somewhere beachy.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to end up doing a motorcycle trip somewhere. So that's what we're thinking.
Well,
we always do that. Every year we take a bike ride. We do like an anniversary bike ride somewhere. We've been to, we went to New Mexico. We've been to Arizona.
You were supposed to go to Italy on your bikes, but
that
didn't
changed.
happen because of COVID.
Yeah, but we've done like Sedona and a lot of other things. So I think we might do something kind of cool on the bike this year too. I was trying to get a beach vacation, but I think it's getting too complicated with everything that's going on.
Well, you can take a bike to the beach. You take a bike to the beach.
Come on, it's our 30th, so it needs to be something.
You got to do something big,
something rad. Yeah.
So go to Hawaii and rent motorcycles while you're there, and ride all over the islands. Go
to the volcanoes.
Yeah, go to the volcanoes. Every Friday in we just went to Hawaii like right before COVID.
Where did you go? What part of Hawaii?
We were in where were we? I'm trying to remember
where
the
Jurassic
names.
Park was
we went to
we
went to where the place where they filmed Jurassic Park and all that stuff. What's the name of that island now? I don't know why I'm blanking on it.
Is it the main island? Is it? Yeah. It's. Is
it Waikiki or?
No.
It's the big island. It's near
of it right now.
Kona.
But anyway, there's a place in there called Kailua Ranch,
Uh-huh.
and that's where they film like Jurassic Park and Kong and a lot of really cool movies. And you could take ATV rides through there and stuff, and boat rides through there, and we did all that. But they do fireworks every Friday. They have this big fireworks display every Friday. So like you go to Hawaii, you get the beach, you can snorkel. We swam with giant sea turtles and stuff.
Oh, that's great.
To this you can ATV through where they filmed Jurassic Park, and you can take the motorcycle and tour the islands. We went to like a chocolate factory where they like gave us like a tasting, and we went through all this
Daniella, that sounds like that sealed the deal,
right?
Yeah, we're in.
And so then you've got beach, you've got bikes, and you've got like a really cool, like everything you want is there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I would recommend that. That's a good one.
It's so funny. Zach and I got married almost 30 years ago. It'll be 30 years next year in Bora Bora. And we had just finished, he had just finished a world tour with Ozzy on No More Tears, which was, a huge record for them.
Mhm.
And we went alone, and they still have one of the movie sets set up from Mutiny on the Bounty, Marlon Brando movie.
Wow.
And so we were on they gave you scooters, because the island of Bora Bora is only 19 miles in circumference. So you could just
wow.
scoot around, and so we ended up on the set of Mutiny and the Bounty, and we had some, honeymoon sex on the set of Mutiny on the Bounty. And of course, I got eaten alive by mosquitoes, so I had to go to the hospital, the one and only hospital on the island, and get shots of Benadryl. But other than that, but yeah, my husband's, it's just so funny because he loved the fact that we were able to be on the movie set. So,
That's so
yeah,
cool.
it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That's really cute.
It's funny.
Commercial break.
Hey, are you an aspiring podcaster or content creator, but you're not sure where to start? Are you a current podcaster or content creator who's stuck in a rut? Do you need to figure out more engaging ways to spice up your next interviews? We suggest Pod Decks. The unique conversation starter cards are going to help you come up with engaging topics for episodes. They'll help aim you more into a deeper discussion, sometimes just break the ice between you and your guests. So head over to poddex.com right now, and you can use the promo code BACON. Yeah, you heard me right. The promo code BACON. And you'll get 10% off your entire order. Again, just use the promo code BACON at checkout at poddex.com for 10% off your entire order, because everything is better with bacon.
Hi, my name is Patty Negri. I am a psychic, medium, and good witch, and I am consuming Bacon is my podcast.
So you guys are both in bands, right?
Yes,
And then,
we're both in different bands, and then we also write music together, which is how we started the podcast also. So
Oh, how cool.
yeah.
and so how do you deal with, because your girlfriend's in a band too?
Yes.
So how do you guys deal with it? Like if you're both on tour and separate tours, you're not together for a long time, because people ask us that all the time. So we'll turn it around to you.
that actually happens literally all the time.
She's out now.
My girlfriend also works she's the lighting director for Joan Jett. So she does lights for
Oh
Joan
my
Jett.
goodness, Daniella.
And,
Frankie will be
Yeah.
So there's my sweet name drop.
Yeah.
But so she's, besides her band being on tour, when her band's not on tour, she's out on tour with Joan doing all that. So we're away from each other a lot of the time. Honestly, we moved in together probably, I think 6 years ago, something like that. I think 6 or 7. And it was like, I saw her for a week and then I didn't see her for 3 weeks. And then if I happened to be on tour when she came home, we didn't see each other. And if she was going on tour as soon as she came back, we didn't see each other. And it's communication. Everything's communication, as long as you're always letting the person know that hey, you know what? I still know that you're there and I still care about it. And you're awesome. Don't ever think for a second that you're not awesome. As long as you're both doing that, it's not that hard.
Especially nowadays you can do that a lot easier.
It's hard not to physically be in the presence of someone, because that's so important, and that's so physical contact is so
totally,
it's amazing. It's health, but as long as your communication's open and you're always letting the person know that hey, you know what, you're super important, just so you know. As long as you're doing that the whole time, it's really not hard. It's really easy, and that's how I found it anyway.
Do you guys have a rule? How long do you stay apart?
Well, we can't dictate that, unfortunately. Neither of us are in the position where we can actually kind of control that at all. So we just, our rule is be super understanding of what I'm doing, and I'm super understanding of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And whatever that is, because, we chose to do this, but we chose to do this after we were already doing all that other stuff.
Right.
So, if something comes up and you got to go, you got to go. You know, if we got to miss, we got to cancel something, we got to cancel it. You know, like that's okay. We'll do it again because we have time. We're always circling back around to each other. We're always gonna come back together. So if for some reason we can't do this today, well, we'll do it when you get back in a week, or we'll do it when I get back in 2 weeks, or whatever. You know, so.
And then how'd that work out with COVID when you're stuck together all the time?
That was funny because all of a sudden it's so, we've talked about it too. We were like, well, we're gonna know for sure whether we're like whether we're good together or not, because we're apart so much that the newness is always there.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's always like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long, and so there's that excitement. But when it was COVID and we were stuck together, it was it just worked. You know, we were like, okay, well, let's see how it goes, and we were both just like, let's see how it goes, and and honestly, like, I was like, you let me know if I'm annoying the shit out of you, and I will let you know if you're annoying me, and if so, we agree that, like, because we're in a basement apartment, it's one room, there's no other place to go.
Yikes.
There's no like escaping if you're annoyed with somebody.
Oof.
And so we were like, hey, if I need space, I'm gonna let you know, and then if you need space, you let me know, and I'll find something to do. And we just both kind of did that, and we needed space a lot less than we thought we would, and it just kind of worked. It was cool.
Yeah.
You know?
I talk about it all the time too. We talked about it a number of times. It's like, you know, you go out into public and you talk with, you know, circles of friends or your coworkers or whatever it is, and like they'll complain about their wife, and it's like, it's like you sound miserable. Why? Like, I married my best friend.
Yeah. Why?
And I'm like
still
super happy that I'm like going home. So like that's pretty cool.
You got to watch it, because I have listened to the Honest AF show.
I have to,
and they are not fans of the I'm with my
best friends is I get it.
Right.
Well,
that's a warning sign for these fine ladies.
Okay.
God only knows what we were talking about or what happened before or after that show when we said that. Sometimes we say things and we're like, did we really say that? I guess we did.
Yeah. Well, you can't take us out of context.
Well, exactly. I'm just kidding, just to kind of like throw it out there. Just
but you passed the test. You obviously have listened to our show, because you would not have known that otherwise.
Absolutely, I've listened to your
show. I
show.
know other things, and I was going to bring it up too. Like so, Barbaranne, you were talking about how Zach doesn't just like play or sing for anybody,
right?
And my wife, so you know, way back when, 15 years ago, how did I get with her? Well, I sang and I played guitar. And now that we're married and stuff, all she does is she's like, you go on.
Can you go in the other room?
And you no, it's the opposite. She's like, why don't you play music for me? And it's like, I don't know, because when I want to, like when I'm ready, I will. Like, well, I want
not on command.
The kids, it's like, I can't just do it. I can't just turn on a switch.
Have you written any songs for her?
Yes.
You have?
Actually,
yeah.
So I wrote a song for her, and the first time that I was going to be debuting it with my band, 2 days before I had a tooth pulled. And
that sounds terrible.
It was awful. So you know, we were trying to get it together. We had only been rehearsing it for a couple of weeks, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, sure, yeah." It's like, yeah, we need to get this down and this and that. I showed up at rehearsal, and I was on painkillers, and like they poured me into a seat, and they put a guitar on me, and they were like, "This isn't going to work, is it?" And I was like, no, we're going to make this. This is going to happen. I just can't sing right now. That's all. So then that day came, and the first time I performed it, blood was coming out of my mouth because the stitches from getting my tooth pulled.
Holy hell.
Yeah. Daniella and I have
awful
recurrent nightmares about teeth work. It's our bane of our existence.
Yeah.
Oh man, isn't that a read a book a long time ago about like dreams and what they mean and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Isn't like dreaming about like teeth things somehow like money related or
It's
success
stress.
related?
Sometimes.
Stress.
Yeah, sometimes it's about,
Yeah.
you know, apprehension of something that's going to come up. It's
Yeah.
definitely about, you know, being a little bit nervous about something or yeah. But Daniella and I both have really soft teeth and we have epic sweet tooths.
Soft teeth.
Yeah, so
You make
it's
it
not
sound like we're gummy, like
Soft teeth.
no, but you know, teeth that are you
Nerf
know
teeth.
our sugar problem
That's
is
why
not
our husbands
conducive.
like us, because we have soft teeth.
We're
Soft
sweet.
teeth. That's important. That's important.
Oh, that's a question for you guys. So brushing your teeth, your wife brushing her teeth before or you know, live in a lover brushes their teeth before or after. Is that a thing that you know, when she's going to pleasure you, is that a yes or a no? That's one of the questions I need to ask you guys.
I
Before or after?
don't care at all.
It doesn't.
Zach is just like, no way. That's like mint and burning, and he's not about it.
I like a little bit of pain now and then. It's kind of like a surprise. It's like a hey, whatever. Let's do it. Let's put a Lister mint on your tongue too. Let's see what happens. Let's go nuts. But if you're gonna do it to me, I'm gonna do it to you.
Yikes. Okay, so then that's a no for me. Now I know where Zach's coming from.
Jen and I joke about it all the time. It seems like after eating red onion, things like get hot and heavy, and it should be super gross. But
red onion's like a aphrodisiac for you guys?
I guess so.
That's awesome.
Sure,
those are cheap. That's great.
You don't have to lay out money for oysters.
Oysters are
That's funny.
expensive, man.
No, oysters are slimy.
Yeah, also slimy.
Yeah. Or sushi.
Red onions, man. That's great.
Right?
I think pineapple's supposed to be up there too, but I don't know.
I heard so I heard a lot of things when I was in like high school, and I don't believe many of them. But like one of the things that I distinctly remember in high school, and it was some girl told me in high school, she was like, if you eat a lot of pineapple, it'll taste better if a girl goes down on you. And I was like, really? That's crazy. And so me as a high school person that no girl was going down on just started eating pineapple after pineapple because I didn't connect the fact that like, oh, it's going to be better when she does it to I still got to get someone to do it.
There you go.
But at least you were prepared.
But I was ready.
Yes, and it is
ready.
true. By the way, it is true.
Is it?
I heard the reverse.
Did
no,
you?
not pineapple.
No, that if girls eat pineapples.
Oh, I haven't tried that, but
yeah.
You would think if it works one way, it's got to work the
Got to
other
work
way.
both ways.
I just
right?
went grocery shopping.
We're all made the same. You know what I mean? Like
it gives a whole new meaning to the song with the Pina Colada song.
oh, there you go. Do you like pina coladas? That's so funny.
That song about cheating.
Isn't it right? It is.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
The whole song's basically a answering a wanted ad from a person to hook up, and then finding out that person that put out the ad was your person.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, maybe we do like each other. Oh, but also we were both about to cheat.
Or maybe we're best friends. That's funny.
Right.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Yeah, that's what that whole song is about.
Oh yeah, that
That's
whole song
true.
is about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They find out they both like the same things.
Right. By both trying to cheat with somebody that likes the things they like.
It's like a Larry David episode as a song.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
it's
There you go.
Inception. I don't even know if the top stops spinning. I don't know what's going on.
But Zach's written lots of songs about you, right?
Oh gosh, you know what's so crazy? 99% of the songs that he's written about me are when we've had a fight. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
us too.
they end up being my least favorite songs of his because all I think about is what it was that he did or I did that we were in like a bad place at that moment. But yeah, he never writes like major love songs to me. If there are major love songs in his music, it's because he read about somebody else's epic love story, or it's, you know, an ode to one of his children or his dogs or something, but it's never to me. But yeah, Zach's written quite a few songs, that I was the muse, but not flattering, or he's always like, well, if I get it out in the song, then we don't fight. And I'm like, well, that is true. So there is a benefit to that.
Yeah, I was definitely going to say that. Like, and honestly, like as a songwriter, like to have a muse of any kind is so amazing.
Yeah,
so for you to be a muse, it's it doesn't matter. It just, all that matters is that it's you, and that, and whether it's positive or negative or a fight or not, it's because like you're the person that he cares more about than anyone else in the world. So you're the person that can put him in the place that he's able to actually do something like that.
Well, thank you. I'll have to look at it that way for in the future. But yeah, he has written quite a few.
I don't know
sure
how
you
I
had
feel
to
about
make that explanation.
Well, I only say that from my personal experience because I don't write happy songs. I can't.
They sound happy.
When I'm happy, I can't write. And I have repeatedly tanked my life in the past because I haven't been able to write, and like music was such a big important thing to me, where like I have destroyed relationships, and I have destroyed friendships, and I have destroyed myself, and all these things to get into a place where I could write, because my brain was like, I can only write if I'm tortured,
Gilby always says that. He says you can't write the blues in an air-conditioned room.
It's what a great way. Yeah. What a simple.
That's a great Gilby quote.
Yeah. He always says that.
Zach is much more simplistic. He's just like, yeah, I'm not going to be writing shiny, happy people anytime, any day. It's not going to happen.
Right. So. Yeah. I wish I could. I wish I could, because that song made a lot of money.
I love that song. I love REM. But
I love REM.
I get it. There are a lot of classic, especially 90s artists that are some of my favorite, that whole grunge period, when they started writing happy songs, when they got over their heroin addictions and their misery. I wasn't such a fan of their happy stuff, so I get you. I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, crazy, right?
I said to Gilby like a long time ago, I was like, I want to be the woman that inspired Layla, or You Look Wonderful Tonight. The Eric Clapton songs. Yeah. I think it was about Patty Boyd.
It was.
Yeah, and instead he wrote me a song called Shut Up, and
I know that song, which is great.
That's so funny.
And Black, and I'm like,
right.
I don't understand what I'm inspiring over here.
Yeah, I know.
So funny. And I'll say the same thing. I'll say the same thing to you. It's like it's not that you're inspiring negative. It's that you're inspiring.
Yeah, there you go.
Our husbands will give you $20 after the show's over.
Yeah, exactly.
Spoken like a true salesman.
No, you know what? Like I'm only saying that because I honestly believe it, because I've never written a happy song about a girl.
Right.
I've never written a happy song. I just haven't. I make them sound as happy as I can, because that's funny to me, to watch people singing along to terrible things and bouncing to it. I think that's great. But I just,
and he does it.
I've never been able to write from a happy place, because I don't need to get happy out. I want to keep that in. Right? Like if you're a person that's grown up and you've constantly written about things that bothered you, and you've constantly needed this exorcism of music to get the negative out, the things that you love and the things that are good, you want to keep to yourself. You want to hold that in, because it's like, man, I don't get this enough, and when I have it, I don't want to lose it. So I write negative things to lose those,
to purge it. Yeah.
So in the back of my mind, I'm like, if I write something happy, am I going to lose this happy? I'm holding this to myself. I'm keeping it. So I don't know that has anything to do of what's going on with your husbands, but I will say as a writer, that's where I come from. And so when you guys say like he wrote like a negative song about me, I'm like, that's awesome. Because that means he cares so much, because when I write a negative song, it's because I care so much.
Well, for me too. For me too. I'll write and record everything. And once it's out and it's done, people always ask me, they're like, do you listen to it back and this and this? Like, no, I'm done with that. Like, that's over. I'm finished. I'm moving on. Like, that's it.
We'll be right back.
All right, so we just played the fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw our new sponsor next to us at the fair.
Right.
Any of you that have ever been to festivals, one of the coolest spots to go to is that spot that's selling you sodas where the copper mugs.
Oh, they're the best.
Wild Bill's, dude.
Yes. And you don't just have to go to a fair to get their stuff anymore. You can go to drinkwildbills.com and they'll send it right to your house.
They sent that ginormous box to us.
Huge box of stuff, and it made me realize that Wild Bill's isn't just soda.
Yeah, I thought it was at first, but man, the jerky and
nuts and coffee.
Oh man, snack foods, coffee, everything.
And if you go there now, drinkwildbills.com, use the promo code BACON, of course, and you get 10% off.
Oh, dude, check it out. Stick with us because we're going to be letting you know how that coffee tastes. We're going to be doing some tasting episodes on literally everything in the box.
Yes.
So stick with us. But, dude, you've had it. You've been at fairs. I've bought it. I bought that mug. It's awesome. I love it.
And now, again, we're heading into the winter months. It's going to get a little colder. No more fairs. Just have it delivered right to your door.
Drinkwildbills.com.
Yeah.
Easy for me to say. Once. Check it out. Promo code BACON.
This is Paul Mark from Silverstein, and you've been consuming, vegan or not, Bacon is my podcast.
Do you guys listen to your husband's music?
I do.
Are you like, I heard it from when you started writing it to the 3rd mix to the 25th mix? I don't want to hear another mix.
You have been listening to our podcast. Yeah, that's me. I hear it from when it's a riff to when it starts on the piano with coffee in the morning one day to in the garage, his gym as a riff, then as when the band lays tracks and the process and the cycle now for Zach ends up being like every 2 or 3 years that he makes a record. So by the time it comes out, I've been hearing that song and that record for so long. And but no, I am a huge fan of my husband's music. What bums me out is when he wrote something on an older record and he doesn't put it in the set, because he's like you, where when he's done with it, he's done, and he's like moved on to what's current. As a matter of fact, we're literally just releasing a record, and I say we because I manage him. So we're releasing a record in November.
Black Friday.
That he's been working on. Pardon?
Black Friday, right?
Yes, it is Black Friday. You're good. And that's because you're not a husband. See, if you were a husband, you would not remember all those things. But I
remember you just did 3 videos with him. Like I remember.
Yes.
3 videos in 4 days. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's the second time we've done it. It actually was a great thing. We have this great video director, Justin Reek. I have to give props to him because he's incredible. But anyway, he was in the garage this morning and I heard him playing something. I'm like, what is that? And he's like, a new song I'm writing. I'm like, we haven't even put the record out yet. And he's writing for the next one. So, but that's
great.
Sometimes though, it is crazy to have heard it by the time you're in, press and promotion and you've heard it like 65,000 times. And it's just like, oh, okay. I'm going to go back and listen to, I'm going to go listen to my Nirvana records or Madonna and just, I'm good.
So just like, being married to creatives, did you find that to be difficult in the time of quarantine, or did you kind of go, okay, this is obviously going to be like a creative renaissance for you.
Right.
So
also as creatives yourselves.
Right.
How did that work?
Yeah.
Did you guys find it hard to find that balance, or were you embracing it?
No, I always embrace it. I love it when Gilby's in the studio writing or playing, whatever. I love that I can always hear music in my house. There's always music playing in our house because our daughter's a musician too.
Cool.
So either there is music coming out of the studio, and even though Gilby says the studio is completely soundproofed, it's not. We can hear.
I say the same thing.
Nothing's completely.
As soon as there's drums,
No,
that's it.
no, exactly. You can totally hear it. Our neighbors sometimes are like, "Hey, thanks for the free concert. That was awesome."
Right.
But yeah, no, I love it when he's writing and when he's getting creative, and he is such a perfectionist that when he goes into his process, he doesn't come out of the studio. I literally have to go in there and be like, "You haven't eaten. You should have dinner, or eat something," because he will just stay there all day. So I love when he does that. But Gilby has other interests. He's a biker. He builds bikes. So he was in the garage a lot, working on his motorcycles, or he's riding, or he's in the studio. So there's a good balance there. And I love that he has these, dual interests. And our daughter's creative. And I think that kept us really entertained during quarantine too. I go into every time they were like rehearsing or writing or doing anything, I would just go in the studio and sit there and just watch them. I get such a kick out of watching them because I'm not musical at all. So I'm in such awe of their process and what they can do, and their commitment and their courage to kind of put themselves out there and do that. Like I could never. So I find the whole process so interesting. Yeah.
You're doing it with your podcast. You're doing the same thing. Like that's
it's a different thing.
It's a different thing, but it is the same thing. Like the whole basis of our podcast is that the whole "what's your bacon" thing. Like it's funny and it's silly and everything, but it's the idea of, well, okay, if bacon or vegan bacon or turkey bacon makes everything better on your plate, what's that thing in your life? What's your
jam? Got it.
Yeah. What is it that makes your day better? And just that idea of like, hey, I love to go out and I love to see the process, and the people that have that passion and have that process and have that that like, I'm going to throw everything into this, that kind of passion. That's who we love to talk to and find out about, because of that same exact thing. The same reason that you're in the studio watching them play is the same reason that we're sitting here talking to you guys, because we want to know what is it that makes you guys do this, and what is it, because that's inspiring. It's everything about it is making you go, oh shit, this is awesome. What can I do? What turns me on? What's my thing? And that's what's awesome about it. So it's cool to have that. I have during quarantine, my girlfriend decided to learn how to play the ukulele.
Yep.
and she learned how to play the ukulele by learning and remaking entire Misfits albums on ukulele.
That's cool.
Wow.
That's really
so
cool.
I'd be at home and she'd be like figuring out Misfits songs on ukulele.
That's
She'd be
funny.
like, hey, can you tell me if this sounds good? And I'm like, yes, please play this for me. And I was like,
super cool.
you need to record this and put this out. You need to make this a thing. But it's like anytime somebody has that little passionate spark where it's like they want to do something, it's like, oh, I got to see this. I got to be into it, because it's gonna make you into something, and it's gonna inspire you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The creative process is definitely a turn on, but I had a completely different experience in COVID.
I was going to say, what was
I couldn't wait to escape to Daniella's to see the creative process going on at her house and get out of my house. Zach loved being home way too much.
Really?
He was really into it. He's like, oh, so if the tour doesn't happen till 2022 or 2023, I'm like, fuck no, you are going out on the road. I'm booking the tour. We'll double mask. We'll put shots in everyone's ass as they're walking in the door. You are getting out of the house. I need to get out of the house. And homeschooling, that's a whole nother thing.
Oh no.
It was brutal.
Awful.
I have no firm reference, so you guys.
And this new Common Core bullshit with math.
Oh.
No, thank you.
What is that? I studied math in college. I actually had the aptitude for it. That Common Core stuff, I'm just like, Sabbath, you're on your own, dude. Call your brother or your sister or something, because it's just
so awful. Common is the wrong word to use for that, because it's completely not. It's completely not. I've seen a few things.
What I hate is so my son's a good kid. Like he's very good. He's very attentive. All that stuff. But you put him on a Zoom call with 30 kids and a teacher who doesn't have their shit together, obviously, because they're trying to control 30 kids.
Because they got 30
on a
kids
Zoom
on a
call.
Zoom, and they haven't been trained for that.
And like every day, it was a different way to do math, and it was like, you didn't even master the first way with the blocks. Now we're on to something else, and like I don't know, I'm so happy that they're going back to school. That the masks and the this and the that, and like he's so comfortable with the mask thing. It's cool. Like it makes it easier. But I'm
glad I'm out of that phase of my life. I don't have to deal with that at all.
Yeah, be super glad about that.
Yeah.
Math is not my strong suit. I can count money really well. I can do that. But other than that, I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm
I hear
out. You want to fraction me? You want to start giving me hypotheticals? I don't even want to hear you.
Yeah, I hear you.
Give me a calculator. I'll show you how to write boobs on it. 60065.
That's hysterical.
You had mentioned like pushing Zach out, so that's kind of how I got back into music. So for a little while, it was funny. Like I was super hard into the the band scene and everything like that, and then I kind of came out of it, got married, had my first kid, and then like maybe I guess my son was 5 months old, and Jen was like, you got to do me a favor, get out. Like
get a job.
Go get a band.
Start a band.
Go do a band.
Go do something.
Go like here. She actually for my 30th birthday bought me a really awesome custom PRS, and she's like, so now that you have this new guitar, and you're not going to like be building guitars and have parts all over the place, get out and do a band thing. So I can definitely. I've been on that. I've been on the receiving end of that. I guess.
That's funny.
Oh, it's like he loves me way too much. He wants to be with me all the time. Where are you going? What are you doing? I'm like, oh, really? Please, no. Like, I have things to do. Well, what do you do all day? I'm like, I've got a lot of things to do. I have tons of conference calls. I've got a lot of work to do. And he's like, oh, okay. I'll hang out with Sabbath and walk the dogs 50 times a day and all those things. But oh my God, I'm like,
everything needs moderation.
Oh, you're not kidding. You're not kidding. And I'm a Scorpio, and I'm all about getting busy, but even quarantine, I was like, okay, enough already. I don't even want that so much anymore. I'm like, give me a break. I need some me time. I'm like, Daniella, don't we have to tape? We were doing him every other week. And I'm like, let's go back to once a week. Gives me an excuse to come over to your house.
Right. That's been like, honestly, this podcast has been like our saving grace because it's given us our time together. And we have so much fun doing it. And it really just started because Barb and I were always texting each other about, because we have so much in common. We're both married to guitar players. We both have kids. We both are in business, and we're both the same age. So we're both going through the same shit too.
Right.
So we were texting each other back and forth all the time. And I was like, one day I was looking at our text and I called Barb. I go, Barb, take a look at our text messages. Have you ever taken an actual look at what we text each other? And it's all about like how to stay young. It's all beauty products. It's all crap. And I was like, maybe we should do a podcast and share everything that we're going through at our age and with everything that we do. Yeah. Maybe there's other people out there that can relate or that would like to kind of be in on this conversation. And it just turned into this thing, and it's just so much fun, and we look forward to it every week. We can't wait to see each other, and we can't wait to just like hang out and shoot the shit.
Yeah. Do you guys live near each other at all?
Not at all. No.
I was gonna say, because it's so funny because we have like the same thing where we've both been in different bands for years, but been friends for years, and our bands like pranked each other and played shows together and did stuff together all the time. And it was like, hey, I'm recording a new record. Do you want to come sing some backups on it? Do you want to come do this? And so it's always been that. But then we were like, hey, let's let's try and write together. You know, you know, I love your writing. I love your writing. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
And we got together and we wrote like an entire record, and then we didn't get together again for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And then it was like quarantine happened, and it was the same thing. It was like, hey man, we don't have like anything to do. let's get back. Let's get back to this. Some of this stuff is good. And we got together and we started just kind of hanging out, and it was an excuse to hang out. And it was, for me, it was an excuse to come somewhere, you know, once it was like, I could come here because I'm like 15 minutes away. And it was like, I could get out of the house and I could come here. And that was awesome for me.
Yeah.
And we, you know, we made a decision at one point where we were like, okay, we're both being careful. We're both listening to things. We both kind of have the same views on this. So we're going to start operating as one body.
Yeah.
Right.
That. And we did the same thing where it was like, you know, the first hour or hour and a half that we're getting together to write, we're just shooting the shit, and we're talking about being in bands, writing, creative stuff, things that inspire us throughout the week, all this kind of stuff, are people that we think are cool.
And by things that inspire us, he's talking about like, oh, what a fucking week this was. This sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like enough of our friends were like, oh, I wish I could be a fly on the wall for that conversation. We're like, oh.
We've heard that.
Yeah.
Well, that's what your guys.
You can be a fly on the wall, and we were like, let's film it and see if anybody's into it. And we started putting it out, and people started listening to it, and we were like, what? And then Mike was like, hey, I sent out some emails to some people I thought would be interesting to talk to, and they're starting to say yes. And I was like, excuse me.
So like
totally.
for your show, you guys had guests like throughout the whole thing, but do you find like during COVID, do you find it easier to book people?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's kind of, a lot of it has been organic for us. You know, like we don't really reach out to people that we don't know. Okay. We usually just call in our friends.
Really?
We usually call in our friends, and you know, we get the occasional people that hit us up that ask if they could be guests on our show, which we welcome. But it's been very organic and kind of, you know, just our friends group, because we try and kind of stay in our lane. We usually have guests on that are somehow involved in music, married to music, dating music, I don't know, musicians themselves, or
estheticians, plastic surgeons.
People that can make us look better. I don't
Music
know.
and beautiful. Right.
Yeah. So we try to stay in kind of that lane. And so it just kind of has been, you know, really nice, because we have this huge plethora of friends that are really interesting, that have a lot to say and a lot to share. So we kind of, it just kind of happens. It flows. It's nice.
So we've been lucky though. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you up, but we've been lucky though that people, our listeners, really gravitate to just Daniella and I too. So we feel the pressure. So it's like if it works out that we have a guest, we're all about it and we're excited. But if it's just she and I, it's just as great a time. And you know, it works out really well.
That's awesome. We're lucky to have kind of the same. We have this core group of a lot of like really supportive fans that happen to like both of our bands and both of our music.
Oh,
like,
cool.
There's a lot of crossover there because we're from the same area. So, you know, like when we play shows together, twice as many people are there because that's great. They're into what we're both doing. Right. So the fact that we got together and started doing a podcast, we were lucky enough to immediately get a bunch of people that were like, oh, I want to hear what this is about.
Yeah.
You know, like
cool.
I want to kind of be on that. And that's cool. We didn't have the benefit like you guys did of having so many like friends that are doing bigger things.
No. We didn't have the friends that we thought were interesting enough to be on the podcast.
I was just
let's be honest here.
I was just gonna say, you guys need to have a better group of friends.
So I will
a lot
tell
of
you,
interesting friends.
I will tell you, we do have we have a decent amount of friends on. The issue is that unlike you guys, we have to edit our episodes.
Right.
So our friends come on, and we have a 4 to 5 hour piece of audio and video that we have
that's
to
funny.
try and figure out.
Yeah.
So those episodes tend to do very well.
That's great.
But
we got lucky in the way that Mike started contacting people like you guys or just people in different industries in general that we were interested in, and they were responsive to it, which was amazing to us.
Yeah, it's very funny because a lot of people like even even newer podcasters where they're just kind of like, hey, how'd you get this person on your show? And it's like, I asked them. I asked them if they would come on.
Right? I mean, what's the worst that could happen is they say no, or they don't respond to you.
Yeah,
I've never been afraid. I mean, I guess that's my manager hat, but I've never been afraid to slide into someone's DMs or to send an email to someone or I hate talking on the phone, so very rarely you'll get me on the phone. But I have no issues with saying, hey, we're doing this thing and we'd love to have you on, and if you have time, awesome. But I'm not one to be shy about that sort of thing.
So when did you start managing? Like what like not just Zach, but in general, when did that become like a thing for you where you were like, hey, I like the management aspect of this?
Well, it's funny because, throughout Zach's career, we've been together since we're kids.
Right.
And I was always on the business end of it. When I first moved to California from New Jersey, Sharon Osbourne gave me a list of record labels. There were record labels then, and managers and agencies and agents to contact about getting a gig because, she recognized that I was smart. And I've always been 1 degree of separation from someone really creative, and they don't always have the aptitude. Like I said, I majored in math in college, so I kind of have that aptitude where I think that it's been a good collaboration and I could always lend something to them because, in my experience, creative types seem to have a brain that works completely different from my, academic analytical brain. And I've always kind of been a, backseat manager, even when Zach's had managers. And he would always ask my advice. And when I worked at A&M Records, I worked there. That was my first big music job. And I worked there for a couple of years. I worked for the CFO, and he helped me acquire Zach's lawyer, which was, the biggest lawyer in the entire entertainment industry, Don Passman. And he actually even wrote the book, I
have his book.
Yes. Everything you need to know about the music industry. So he, wrote the book on the music industry. So, I've always been involved, but I never wanted to be Zach's manager because I was afraid that if things went south or things weren't happening, artists tend to love to blame their managers for everything. And I did not want to be, I was more interested in being his lover than the person that he blames for everything. Then I started to realize he blames me for everything anyway.
I was going to say, it's the same.
So I may as well make a commission and,
I may as well get 20% of that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So actually don't let anyone take 20% of anything, not even your wife manager or wife-ager or whatever. But no,
I thought you probably
10% is a ceiling in my opinion. But anyway, so I think that it just kind of naturally evolved, and we're really happy with the situation. I do have someone, I don't know if you guys know of Blasco, Rob Nicholson. He's a bassist. Played with Rob Zombie. He's Ozzy's touring bassist. Okay. He's an incredible musician, but he's really amazing at marketing and the whole business. And he's one of those rare humans that's good at both. He's got the business acumen and he's really creative artist as well. But he manages Zach with me for all of the, marketing and the social media. And he's the industry moment by moment changes. So, I'm definitely new that it was important to find someone that was good at all those things that I can't really bring to the table. So we have a really good business relationship and we do it together.
That's awesome. Like we have a lot of musicians and a lot of like our friends. I mean, our friends are all musicians. We have a million friends that are in bands and all that kind of stuff, and they listen to the show, and then other musicians listen to the show. So it's good to hear that kind of stuff, because I know even from like my personal perspective of like, I've managed my band, and then my band had management, and then I went back to managing my band, and then and it's like, it's so important to be able to find somebody that does have that kind of a thought process, that can be analytical with it. I know, like, I'm not great with it. I wish I could find somebody that I could share that with. It's tough, but being able to find somebody that you trust that can kind of navigate those waters is super important.
Yeah.
Right.
And, like, what is there any advice that you would give to bands that are not like first record bands, but I mean, bands that have been doing this for 7 years, 8 years, that are on like their third self-released record, fourth self-released record, that are self-managing, about trying to like find management or anything? Is it like, I know that's a weird question, but like, is there any advice you would give?
I totally get that question. And I've actually had this conversation with Daniella and Gilby's daughter, Frankie, many times. I don't know I think it's important to find someone to manage you if you are a musician that needs managing, right? So, but it's more important in our current industry, I think, to have an agent, because you really need to do shows. I mean, forget about COVID for a second, because that's a whole, that brought something else into the situation. But, the way you're going to get, I mean, one thing that's so amazing about social media is that your reach is worldwide, whereas in the past that was not, for Gilby and for Zach, that wasn't they had to hit the ground, or they had to get signed, in order to get exposure outside of our small little world. But fortunately, the one of the amazing things about the internet and social media and stuff is that you can get out there worldwide and not have to spend a dime, and other people can gravitate towards you for whatever reason. And you could get into some, VIP's DMs, keep hitting it, like there might be a day that someone is bored as hell and going through their DMs and goes, oh, wow, yeah, let me see this. And then, I mean, I've had quite a few relationships happen that way in the industry, people that I would have thought that I would have never even had reach, because I'm managing Zach, and but Zach isn't Lady Gaga or Billie Eilish. So there are you can be at it for however long, and you still need that reach. I would say that it's so important to tour, because that brings a whole nother element to it. And for Zach in particular, his biggest sale or the biggest way he's been able to survive in the music industry is by merch. He's sold more merch than most rock bands for sure, and he's right up there with a lot of pop artists with merch sales. So that's kept us afloat.
BLS stuff is everywhere. It's like it's kind of iconic at that point. You know what I mean? Like, it really. And
I have to give that up to Zach, because Zach is always been in that thought process. He's all about being a brand. He's all, before it was the term and before it was a thing, he always thought that way, because he is such a nostalgia buff, which he will buy anything Jaws, anything, Wizard of Oz. He will buy all the toys, Evel Knievel. So he always looked at it that way. That's why he is a fake biker band, because he always looked at the 3-piece patch set and said, you're buying into something. It's a concrete thing. That's what I want my band to be. I want my band to be a society. I want my band to be my people that have a place, like a gang or
Brotherhood.
whatever. Totally.
Yeah.
And it's if you think, you have to think globally to be global.
Well,
you
it's
know.
taking that old like if you look to the past and you look at the old like fan club model,
Totally.
right? It's
Mhm.
taking the fan club model and making that like, okay, let's make that accessible to
Just a
everybody now.
bigger blanket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's make everybody the fan club.
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely.
if you had
100%.
That's a
if
good
you
way to
had to
look at it.
tell if you had to tell a band right now, because I've heard differing opinions from people that I know that are musicians, do you think it's more important if you're going to work with somebody to work with somebody that's like a booking agent that's going to get you shows, or a
Yep.
social media person that's going to push you on social media?
Well, that's unique. That's interesting because it would depend on your personality, right?
Mhm.
So if you have a personality like, again, Daniella's daughter, Frankie. Frankie is an artist in every way, shape, or form, right? So watching her in her Instagram or her TikTok videos, she's so interesting. People gravitate towards her. The visual, she has something to say.
Okay.
But if you're someone like God, God rest his soul, but the great Chris Cornell, he always talked about he was not a good interview. He was not someone that was comfortable in that context. The music did the talking for him.
Come see us
So
live.
I think it depends on who, your personality. My husband lives for his Instagram videos. He lives for reaching and talking to people. He's a social butterfly. He's an extrovert. He's, so I think it all depends on who you are as an artist and what you want to say with your art. But booking agent, I think is, not to discredit myself, or Blasco or anyone who's a personal manager, but in music, you need a booking agent. I feel it really strongly about that because you can't book your own shows all the time, and you don't have the reach and the relationships to, especially when you're, it's expensive to tour. So you need that person to go out there and sell you and your band and get you on the road. And, tour support isn't really a thing anymore, but kind of it is. I mean, like your podcast could be your tour support. So if it's done properly and you start to see, money for it. So, I think it's an interesting question, but it really just depends on the artist.
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
I think something that I kind of saw with COVID too, I see that like a lot of the bands and groups and even just personalities that came out of it better on the other side are the ones that were willing to kind of go, okay, cool. So we had this package, this facade, this thing that was a band, right? And then they just kind of were like, all right, well, we're all in this together. We're just going to take that down and show a little bit more of ourselves in it.
Yeah.
And, with the live streams and the...
There's Gilby.
Oh.
Sent you a text.
Hey,
Hi,
special
Gilby.
guest star.
Hello,
Special
Mr.
guest.
Clarke.
What's up?
How are you?
I sent you a text if you want to go beyond.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm still on this. Have fun, babe. He wants to go back to the biker show. He's going back to board free, so he just want to know if he should wait for me or not.
Oh,
But we've been having
special appearance by Gilby.
Yeah, there you go.
I met both your husbands at separate times, obviously, but in funny situations. I met Gilby when they were touring behind Pawn Shop Guitars.
Oh wow!
Oh cool!
And I met Zach when he was touring behind the very first Book of Shadows tour.
Oh, okay.
And I lived in Indiana at the time, and I saw both of them in small clubs, and like I was a fan of both of them in general, just because I came into Guns N' Roses at the tail end of the first record, and then jumping into Use Your Illusion. So like Gilby was a Guns N' Roses member to me. So it was like he put out a solo record, it wasn't like he's a solo artist. He joined the band,
right?
So it was super cool that way. And then Zach put out a solo record, and I was like, Zach put out a solo record? I have to go see it.
Yeah, to do something with all those acoustic tunes that he was writing. That right? Ozzy was like, "No, this doesn't.
That's not quite it."
Yeah, it's not Ozzy material.
So it was super cool because I met them both at like these small bars in Indianapolis.
So
And
funny.
They both had done these tours in Indianapolis. Zach played a show. He had one other person with him that was singing.
Yeah.
And they played on this. It was like this little tiny stage. And the two things I remember from that show were, one, there was a disco ball above, like coming down from the roof, and it was this little tiny disco ball, and it was a dive bar. And he grabbed the spotlight that was on him and he put it up on the disco ball so that there would be some ambiance. Yeah, it was like, yeah, that makes more sense. And then they went into their songs, and I was like, that's
very complimentary to those bell bottoms.
Yeah,
that he used to wear.
Yeah, he came off stage, and I walked up to him and I was like, hey man, can I like buy you a shot or something? And he was like, no. And I was like, cool. I expected no. But he gave me a set list and he was like, sit down. And I sat down at the table with him and he talked to me about like doing stuff with Axl Rose. And he talked to me about like, funny. It was just the coolest thing ever because I was like, here's this guy. And I was like freshly 21. And I was like, this is one of my guitar heroes, you know, and he was so down to earth. And almost the same thing with Gilby, where I met him and it was a small bar show and he had a full band with him. And I met him outside. It was outside the show. I'm trying to like put it all back together now. And when I met him, I just walked up to him and I was like, hey man, like you guys are awesome. I didn't know what to expect. And you guys are awesome. I came in because, you know, I just wanted to come in and see you. And he was super like humble and super cool. And he was so like, thanks, sweet. Man, I appreciate it. And he asked me my name and I was like, you ain't got to remember, you know, like it was just super cool. And both of your husbands were so like accommodating and so cool and so down to earth and fun to talk to as like a young fan that was just in the room and just felt super lucky to be in the room.
That's awesome.
And it was just so awesome to kind of like have those interactions. And I remember that those interactions inspired me more to do music and
that's cool.
Keep doing what I was doing and all that kind of stuff. And so I just like, it doesn't mean anything that I'm telling these stories, but I just
no, absolutely does.
I met the both of them and it was just so cool. And they're two of my fondest memories as when I first started being able to like get into bars. And it was like, I lived in Lafayette, Indiana, so I was an hour away from Indianapolis. And anytime anybody I didn't have the internet to let me know. So it was like I was trying to find out when anybody would be anywhere. And I would go and I would drive there and I would show up at a show and I would just be there to watch and support and just kind of soak it in. And they were two of the coolest people that I met that I still remember to this day, those meetings. And it was super.
That's cool. That's nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very cute.
So and Gilby popping into the scene just then just reminded me of all that. So I had to vomit it out.
Speaking of vomiting things out.
Yes.
That's not going to be a good lead into anything, but go ahead.
Okay, so we actually we have a sponsor called Poddex.
Yes.
Cool.
And what they do is when they don't have, as we say, verbal diarrhea, and where we can just like carry on in conversation.
Not everyone can do that. Are you guys aware of that? Like, not everyone can do what you guys do and what we do, and not everyone can just sit here and go like, "Hey, let's chat for an hour."
Yeah,
really.
Lucky for their husbands and
wives. That's so funny.
So what these guys do is they have decks for different aspiring podcasters.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So they have like an interview deck, interview 2, and all sorts of stuff. And it's like an icebreaker.
They give
that's great.
Yeah, podcast topic ideas, icebreakers, interview ideas, interview questions, stuff like that. So if anybody out there,
we need to do that.
Yeah.
If anybody out there is interested, if you go to poddex.com, you can buy any of these decks. And
that's so cool.
Use the promo code BACON
too. If you use the promo code BACON, you get 10% off your entire order.
Okay, so that's what we'll be doing as soon as we get off of this call.
What we would like to do is we would like to have you guys choose a deck, and we will ask you a question from that deck.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
You choose, Daniella.
All right, Daniella's going to choose. So let her know
So
what
there's
the
either
options.
the episode deck. Don't choose the episode deck. Interview deck. Interview deck 2. What the heck? And would you rather?
Ooh, would you rather?
Very popular
fan
one.
favorite.
Very popular one. Now, Poddex is for everyone, so these questions do not delve into our territory. They're more GPG, PG-13, and we could be anywhere in that realm while we do this. Mike is going to shuffle because though I lived in Vegas for a year, I cannot shuffle cards.
Oh, that's funny.
I can pour and serve drinks all night long because I was a bartender. I was not shuffling cards.
There you go.
Speaking of Vegas, Vegas. Can you
I have
guys
an
say?
accent.
Can you guys say Las Vegas for me?
Las Vegas.
Yeah, Las Vegas.
She's kind of got
See?
it, but she
Daniella.
doesn't count because she's from South Africa. Daniela, can you say garage for me?
Oh,
Yeah.
we know that one.
I heard that one too. Yeah,
Yeah, garage. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
which is fine. What's wrong with that?
Well, no, he says Vegas and he says bagels.
I
I've
do
got
say
one
that.
for you from the East Coast. How do you say water
Water.
Water. I have
or
fan-
orange? Do you say
Orange?
orange or
I say
orange?
I say orange.
Orange.
It's proper to say
see-
orange, but I say orange, and I
Orange?
just can't make my mouth do that orange thing.
See, I have family from Arizona who, when they used to come, when they came to New York, they would always, like, I was 3 or 4, and they would always say water. And you say water.
Everyone says it to me too. Say that
And
again,
then they
water.
And they go, okay, now say orange. And then they kind of like beat it into me.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how my life went.
See, I moved around a lot as a kid, but then I spent like my junior high and high school years in Indiana, so Midwest. So I have some of that Midwest going on.
Okay.
And then I moved to New York, and I've lived in New York since then. But I lived in Vegas for a little while. And so I have this weird mishmash of accents that's happening. I say Vegas.
Vegas.
I don't say coffee.
Bagels.
I say coffee.
I say coffee.
I say coffee.
I say coffee.
Yeah, see, you say coffee.
Okay.
You say it correctly.
Well, that's because they beat it into me.
You don't say it all weird.
So Jim is gonna scroll his finger.
I'm gonna scroll my finger. You tell me stop, and we will ask you a random question from when you say stop.
Stop.
Stop right here. All right. So here's a would you rather. Who's gonna answer first?
Barb.
Daniela. I will. I'll answer first.
All right. Barbaranne's going to answer first. Danielle's going to answer second. Would you rather your voice sound like Elmo or Kermit the Frog?
Elmo, because my kids loved Elmo, and then they would listen to me. They wouldn't tune me out.
Oh, okay.
We had an Elmo obsession with a couple of my sons. So yeah, Elmo's awesome.
But that would be your voice sounding like Elmo literally 365
all the time,
24/7.
But Kermit's so sad. I wouldn't want to have that woe is me, that
Kermit does have
Eeyore down, depressed. Why am I
true.
green
Like
sadness thing going
In
on?
music terms, I would say Elmo's major and Kermit's minor.
Yeah.
You know what's really funny? What's really funny though is that I have more of a lower, deeper voice for a girl.
Sexy.
It's funny because when I was a kid and I went and joined chorus I was the only girl that was alto, and all the boys and girls.
Nice.
Yeah, I was the only one. All guys, which hey was fine with me. I was all about being the only girl with all the guys. But even when I was like 6, but I've always had more of a deep voice. So having an Elmo voice would be a very interesting thing for me. It would be a whole new world.
Nice. Yeah. Nothing wrong with having that smoky sexy going on. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Daniela, how about you? Would you rather go 24/7, 365 Kermit the Frog or Elmo?
I think probably Kermit. Just because I think he's really cute.
He is cute.
I was kind of going with the Kermit too because he's very approachable.
Yeah, he's cute.
He's not like intense. Like Elmo is kind of like Okay, guy.
Elmo always seemed to me like a child, and Kermit seemed like a dude that's got shit going on. Like he's got a show, he's got a girl, he's got his shit together.
I really
He's
like
like-
Miss Piggy. I like
Oh,
her.
Miss Piggy's awesome.
She
Miss
has this
Piggy's
high voice.
totally
It's so
awesome.
cute.
Yeah.
We get my daughter. Actually get my daughter to do the hiya
Oh,
all the
so
time.
cute.
It
That's
took
great.
a little while. It took a little while to get them into the Muppets, but man,
Yeah,
Your
kids are just
doing
like
the
they're not
voices of-
about the Muppets. They're just like
Yeah,
it takes
so
a while.
true.
You have to try and get them to go old school a little bit.
You know what's
Yes.
funny is when Frankie was when she was born, we decked out her nursery. Gilby and I painted all over her walls the Muppets, but we put them in a band. So all
so
the
cute.
Muppets were on her walls playing different instruments. So it was
Hey,
cute.
man. They got a
Yeah.
band. They got
Yeah.
a band. Dr. Teeth, man. Dr. Teeth is the man.
Yeah,
yeah, I forgot about that.
and that drummer, the drummer was
Animal.
hysterical. Animal, that's right.
Animal,
Yeah.
Animal was the best.
Yes,
I always liked how between playing, Animal was much like most of the drummers that I have, and they're just
Yeah.
hyperventilating between songs.
totally. You have to hope you have a drummer like that, right? They're great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it all in.
It'd be more fun if the drummers just wouldn't talk. In general, That's why I program my drummers.
I'm with you, Mike. I'm with you.
Just saying.
I have to admit.
I've
I
never
feel
had
the
a
same.
drummer that didn't. I've never had a drummer that didn't talk a lot.
Yeah.
That's never
Me
happened.
neither. I wish they
I've
did.
never had that.
Yeah. They're always hyper, always so much energy.
A lot of energy in drummers.
Yeah.
Super opinionated.
Definitely.
I will tell you a little naughty thing that Ozzy always says about drummers. Ozzy
please.
always says about drummers and bassists are for hiring and firing, and that's from Mr. Osborne himself.
Well, then you know. That's
Then
the
you know
facts
it's
then.
like, yeah,
I'll never argue anything that Ozzy says ever.
absolutely.
Me either, actually. He's
Even if
actually so wise. I mean, he has
Yeah.
told me some things in my life that are just amazing, and I love him dearly. He's the greatest.
What was your first experience?
Oh my gosh. I don't know if we have enough time for this story. So
I gotta pee real quick.
Oh, hold on.
I'll-
Hold that
I gotta
thought.
be unprofessional.
Hold that
Okay.
thought because Mike's got to be unprofessional piece. So we're
that's hysterical.
We're gonna
Don't you have
edit
like a
right
like my
now.
husband when he drank? Don't you have like an empty water bottle or something? Zach was always known for like an empty cup or a water bottle. Or actually, a very funny story, real quick about Metallica.
Yeah.
He used to when Zach was drinking, it was like he wasn't going to stop for anything, not even having to use the little
Right,
boys'
right.
room. And so he would take the red cups off of a bar and pee in them that were empty. And so he was out at a bar with Lars Ulrich from Metallica, and Zach was like peeing in cups, and Lars was taking the cups thinking that they were beer.
Oh,
I don't
no.
know why, because they had to have been warm,
No.
and
No.
handing them off to other like people in the bar, like as if it was like a Lars and Zach show. And they got thrown out of the bar, and Lars had no idea that he was doing it. And Zach was like, "You're not
That's-
giving those to people, are you? I'm using them to piss
Oh my
in." But
God,
it was
that's
just
so funny.
it's a very funny story.
Like
Yeah.
we always had a rule when we were on tour where like you don't pull over until you need gas.
Right.
Because that's the rule. You don't pull over to pee. You pull
No.
over when you need to fill up.
Yeah.
So everybody's got to hold it until then. Well, I did not have a band that was very good at holding it. So my drummer and my bass player both would just be filling up like Gatorade bottles
Uh-huh.
and water bottles and
Yeah.
everything. And so every time we'd pull into a gas station, there'd be like 4 bottles thrown out that were just like, oh my God, I hope this is like hazardous.
It's hysterical.
See, Zach was probably smart and has a bathroom in his studio. I don't.
He does have a bathroom in his studio, but
she just told the story about how he did not want to stop anything. So he would
To
just
go to the
pee in
bathroom.
cups.
Oh, see, I've done that before on an episode.
Yeah, just not here currently. He made everybody.
well, you're
stop.
being respectful, so that's very nice.
There's ladies in the room.
That's very nice. That's very nice.
We appreciate it.
He's a respectful dude. He is.
Yeah, we have a bathroom here in Gilby Studios, so we're all set here.
Yep.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Hi guys.
We're
So
back.
you asked me, and I'll try and make this interesting and quick, an abridged version of the first time I ever met Ozzy. So Zach got the audition and got the gig with Ozzy when he was 19 in '87, and they
Great bangs, by the way. Great bangs.
He hated having bangs. He hated a perm. That's a whole nother podcast episode. He still has nightmares about that. But anyway, so and actually his hair back then, I did his hair. I still do his hair, but I did it back then. Yeah, we had like twinning hair. It was the '80s. I mean, fortunately, it was the very end of the '80s, and that was a very short-lived period for Zach. But so when he got the gig with Ozzy, they first had him go over to Europe to see if he could write. And then he did his first show in a prison with Ozzy to see if he could play and not, not lose his mind and have stage fright. And so when they finally figured out that Zach was the dude and they were ready to release it to the public, Sharon had organized a press conference at the Hard Rock Cafe and in New York City. And so they did this big press conference, and later that night, Zach went out with a bunch of the people that he had, who Mark Weiss, the photographer, had gotten him the audition for Ozzy. So he had gone out with a bunch of his friends, and I was in the hotel room. We were staying at the Park Meridian, which was like the Rock Hotel back in the day. And Ozzy called our room and he said, may I speak to Zach? And I said, well, Zach's not here right now. And he's like, it's Ozzy. I'm like, yeah, hi Ozzy, how are you? And he's like, can I come up to your room and talk to you? And I was like, yeah, sure. It was like, 1 a.m. and Ozzy's, Ozzy's Zach's new boss. I had met him for a minute, and I had told him he was full of shit because when we knocked on the door, he made the door open and he hid behind it. And he's like, you can come in now. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And I was all of 17 and I was so unimpressed. And he goes, you think this is all bullshit, don't you? And I go, you're just all normal people. And he goes, I go, well, maybe you're not normal, but you're just a person. Like, I'm not, he goes, Zach, you got to hold on to this one. She's a diamond. She's not affected at all. She couldn't give two shits. And I'm like, I really don't care about who you are or what you do or whatever. I just, if you're cool, you're cool. So later that night, he calls the room and asks if he could come up and talk to me. And funny story, which now you would think Zach would be offended by something like this, that he would never care. But Ozzy had called Zach a dickhead at the press conference for something. Zach must have been saying something, or Ozzy said, shut up, you dickhead, like we're doing this thing. And Ozzy was also, partaking in beverages in those days. And Zach was so mortified and so upset that Ozzy called him a dickhead. He went out with his friends and he didn't want to talk to Ozzy. So he was like just pissed and really hurt. And so Ozzy said, can I come up to the room? I want to talk to you. And I was like, okay. So I got dressed really quick. I answered the door and Ozzy comes to the room and we're sitting in the suite in the Park Meridian, and, 17-year-old me with Ozzy. And he goes, do you drink? And I go, well, not really. Like, I'm not even old enough, like whatever. And he goes, call room service and get us a bottle of champagne. And I was like, okay. And he goes, and not the cheap shit either. Get Cristal. So I was like, I have no idea what Cristal is. I've never tasted champagne in my life. I'm in a hotel that it's more expensive to answer the door than I have in my wallet, So I called down to room service. They bring up a bottle of Cristal. Ozzy and I are alone in the suite watching television, talking, and he's like, I think I offended Zach. I think I upset Zach because I called him. I go, yeah, I know. You called him a dickhead. He wasn't too thrilled. And Ozzy's like, do you think he's going to talk to me? And I said, yeah, he'll get over it. Give him a minute or whatever. So then Ozzy and I were talking about all different kinds of things. And he takes my hand and he goes, let me read your hand. I'm a palm reader. And I was like, oh, brother, here we go. Like this guy, like you've read one too many stories about yourself, Ozzy. I'm not buying this bullshit. So he takes my hand and he goes, wow. He goes, you're going to live a long time. And your lifelong you have a long lifeline. And I'm like, oh, thanks, Oz, or whatever. And then the champagne comes up and we start drinking champagne. And I've never had, I think I was maybe 105 pounds then. And we're sitting there and I am wasted beyond belief. Zach walks in the hotel room and he sees me sitting with Ozzy. We're drinking champagne, we're laughing, we're having a great time. And Zach was like, "What in the fuck is going on here?" And Ozzy goes, "Is it okay if I sleep in your room?" And so Zach was like, "Yeah, I guess so. Like, I guess you get." And he's like, "I'm sorry I called you a dickhead, Zach." And Zach was like, "It's all right, dude. But like, you don't have to talk to me like that." And so like, this is like my very first experience with Ozzy. And it was just so funny because he was all trying to like pull this whole thing on me. Like he was this like, bat eating, like,
Right.
dark Black Sabbath Messiah. And I was just like, "You're just a dude." And we fell madly in love with each other from the very first time we met. And so Ozzy spent the night with us for my very first night meeting him. And we woke up in the morning, he was gone, and Sharon was calling the room. She's like, "Did you see Ozzy last night?" And I was like, "Actually, yeah." She's like, "Oh my God, did he get you drunk? Did he buy he is in so much trouble when I talk to him." It's just so funny. So my first bottle of champagne Cristal, mind you, was with Ozzy. And that was my very first night meeting him.
That's an okay story to tell.
Yeah. So what do you think? Because a lot of people at 17 wouldn't be as
level-headed.
Kind of level-headed, yeah, exactly. Of being like, you're a person. People are cool or they're not. What made you kind of like that type of person? What do you think?
Well, I think it's twofold. I think one, I was born that way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Mike, you have kids. They're born, they are who they are when they're born. That nature nurture thing, I believe it's the nature thing. I really do. Bad habits you can acquire, but who you are, you're born that way. That for one. And two, I really didn't know Ozzy's music. Like I was, like I said, I like pop. I listened to Madonna. I listened to Prince. I listened to Michael Jackson at the time. So like it really wasn't my world. So I really wasn't infatuated with him. I didn't look at him as anyone else, and then over the years, I've kind of been the same way with most artists. And I think that's why I've always been able to like hang. And I think, you guys are musicians, they would much prefer to hang out with people who aren't like, totally enamored,
It's really
so
weird when you're hanging out with somebody that for whatever reason thinks you're special.
Yeah.
Like that's a weird experience.
Daniella, you've your husband was in a rock group with some pretty decent egos.
That did all right.
They what about you? Did you have any kind of experience with that, or was it more like he's in and I'm just kind of like on the side here?
Yeah, I mean, like when Gilby and I got married, we got back from our honeymoon, and 2 weeks later, he got the call from Guns to join GNR. So I really wasn't expecting any and all that at all. And for me, it was such a shock because I came out on the road. The first couple shows that he did with them, I wanted him to go out on his own, and I didn't want to go with him because I wanted him to like build that relationship with the band and not have me there interfering or getting in the way or having to worry about me. So I said to him when he first went out with them, "You go out first, get to know the band guys, and then I'll come out." And
that's super cool of you, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, we had just gotten married, and I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was shitting myself because
right.
We got married, and then he got in GNR, and
at the time, the biggest band in the world.
Biggest band in the world. They're all dating fucking supermodels. I don't know if I can cuss on the show or not, but
you can. You're fine.
So they're all dating supermodels, Victoria's Secret models, and I was like, "Oh, brother, forget the groupies. These guys are dating."
I mean, guys, come on, look at her. The only thing supermodels have on her is 6 inches of height, but that's about it. I mean, get over it. Stop.
Heels that they put on. That's
you
can
put heels.
No, they have 6 inches on her, but other than that, she's got it going on. I mean, this woman.
Anyways, but yeah, it was very. I love Barb, but it was a little nerve-wracking to say the least. But I went out on the road, and I remember this so vividly because the elevator door opened. They were staying at the Royalton Hotel in New York, and the elevator door opened, and I was walking down the hallway to go to our room to go see Gilby for the first time since he'd been out with them. And he'd been out with them for about 2 weeks at this point. And because we had a rule that we had just recently gotten married, and I was nervous. And he said, we have to stay together. That's the only way a marriage is going to work, is if you come out on the road and we stay together and we don't stay apart longer than 2 weeks. So that was our deal.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I came out on the road, the elevator door opened, I'm going down the hall to go to his room. And all of a sudden I see Dizzy stumble out of his door, and he walks towards me and he's like, hey. And I looked at him, and all I could smell was alcohol. Yeah. I mean, it was like permeating from every pore, and I could just smell alcohol. And he was like, hey, and then said something completely incoherent to me that I didn't understand at all.
Of course.
And I was like, I'm Gilby's wife. I'm looking for his room. And he was like, oh yeah, he's, over there, down there, whatever. And then Duff comes walking down the hallway, stumbling down the hallway. Also, alcohol everywhere. Right. And then I get to Gilby, and I'm like, what the hell's going on over here? But
yeah.
But it was really cool because the guys were really, they were great. They were really fun and super welcoming. And the thing I had a hard time with was management, because
let's not even hit that. Zach shared the same manager as GNR, and that's all I'm going to say.
Right. Yeah, well, I'll tell you a little more than that, but
he sells cars now, just to give you a little point of reference.
Okay. I heard about that. So I heard about that on your podcast.
Wow. Yeah, well, the thing is for back in those days, it was all about groupies and living this rock star life. Right. And thank goodness Gilby was pretty sensible and, said, look, you have to stay out on the road. You have to come out and be with me the whole time. That's the only way it's going to work. But you have to treat this is my job. I wouldn't come to your job and cause shit. So you see no evil, you hear no evil, you speak no evil, you know your place on the road. And that's, kind of the mentality I took. But it definitely, there were moments, like I remember the very first show, they played this huge show in New York. And after the show was over, I went to go walk backstage, and their, tour manager and all the guys that were manning the door were like, oh, you can't go back there yet. You have to wait a little bit. And I was like, wait a little bit. Why do I have to wait to go see my husband? I have an all access pass. I can get back there. And they said, yeah, but just, give them a few beats before you go back there. They're getting changed. They're doing their thing. Just give them a little bit of time. And I smelt a rat right away. And like Barb, I wasn't having it. So I said to them, I'll tell you what, why don't you go backstage? You let Gilby know that his wife just left and is heading to the airport to go home because you wouldn't let me backstage. Go tell him that. And from then on, it was my wife goes everywhere I go, or
right,
it's a no-go. Right. So yeah, that got solved pretty quickly, because also
that's a quick way to solve it.
Yeah, because when I went backstage, I saw what was going on, and I knew why I wasn't allowed back there. So
right.
That's funny.
Yeah, fuck that. No way.
I got lucky with Zach having Ozzy, because, they don't really have a female following at all. So it was all just a bunch of young dudes in black T-shirts. I wasn't really worried about Zach, plus his good Catholic boy ass is at church right now. And he always thinks that a bolt of lightning is going to strike him or something if he does anything he shouldn't be doing. So I don't even have to put a leash around him. He's got it he polices himself.
He's
So
got the
Well,
he's got the Jesus leash. That's a tough one.
Again, Jen was like, same thing like
leash.
with me, where she's like, I think the toughest time when I started doing shows once we had children, so like she would be at every show. She was always there. But eventually once we had kids,
Right.
She's got the mommy brain going, and she feels guilty and
Right.
oh, I don't want to leave them with anybody.
Totally.
You guys know.
Yeah.
And
that's always the tug of war. It's like you as a woman, you never feel like you could do anything perfectly, because if you're not at work, you feel guilty for not working. If you're at work, you feel guilty for not being with your family, and if you're with your family, you feel guilty for not being with your husband on tour. So it's like nothing's ever.
Is that like so? It's like literally all day you just feel like you're like not measuring up on something.
Oh yeah, and I'm Jewish on top of it.
Oh my God, that's so awful. That's so awful.
I get it.
The struggle is real.
The struggle is real. It's so wrong.
So
I'm always feeling guilty
true.
about something, or
That's so funny.
There was legit like a period of time, and we're talking about local shows and stuff, and she's just like, I don't know what you're doing there, and I'm like, what girls like my band?
Jen, believe him. Believe him. If it's metal, you don't have to worry. You have nothing to worry about.
I've been in similar bands. Like I'm the lead songwriter of most of my bands, so it's like, what girls are listening to this besides you before it comes out? And so yeah, don't worry about it. and then she started coming to shows, and she's like, how many of your boyfriends am I going to meet? And it's like, oh, okay. Well,
there might be a few of those.
Great.
He's one of them. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's the crew and the management and the business.
Worse.
Yeah. The business people that are worse than the band members. The band members are just like, I
found that too. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
The more like
yeah, you guys are going to just blame it on the crew. Yeah.
Well, no, you know what? Honest, like I'll be honest.
I have no crew.
I'm the other side.
Don't worry about that.
I
don't have any crew. If there's any crew for him, it's me.
I'm the other.
That's funny.
I'm the other side of that because I was a raging slut for a very long time.
Finally, some honesty here.
My band was not a metal band. My band was a hard rock, pop rock, catchy band.
He wore a guy liner.
Okay.
I wore a guy liner. I'm the singer of the band and everything. And for a long period of time, I was like, yeah, let's live this rock and roll life.
Good for you.
If you're in, I'm in. If you're in, I'm in. Let's do this. And so like I definitely I get it. I understand it. I threw myself in it for a long period of time. I was like, I'll take whatever. I'll do whatever. Let's do whatever.
At least you're honest.
I was all about it. Oh yeah, no, I have no honest is all I can do.
That.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a different thing, and I've had many relationships that totally tanked because of that, because like I wasn't trustworthy. Also, I didn't trust anything because I wasn't trustworthy. Yeah. And
that kind of goes hand in hand a lot. I think, I think it's one of those things, like if you're really, accusing someone of doing something, it might be because you're doing those things. You don't
really like, you can accuse somebody of something, but you don't flip out accusing somebody of something unless it's something that especially if you have no reason to, unless it's something that you're kind of guilty about or feel weird about. And I've definitely been on that side of it. Like I've grown since then. I'm a different person now, but like that's a real thing. Like that's like any concerns that you would have had. Yeah, I totally get it. I've never been in the biggest band in the world. I've never played with Ozzy. I've never done any of those things. I was touring, throughout the country in clubs and small places and stuff and all that kind of stuff. And there's enough of it there. There's enough of that going on.
But isn't it true that it's everywhere? I mean, like, mailmen are having affairs and teachers and, you could be any walk of life. It's, it's out there. So,
but
and with social
musicians-
media, shit. I mean,
Well, I think if you're not really comfortable with yourself, then you will seek validation. And any validation that you get, the fact that it's making you feel good feeds you into it because you're not comfortable in yourself. Once you start to get comfortable in your own, once I started to get comfortable in my own skin and like confident in myself and just being like, hey, this is what I do. I'm not the biggest thing in the world and maybe I don't need to be, or I don't, I'm not this, that, or the other, but maybe I don't need to be. And starting to feel good about like who you are and what you do, then you start caring about that a lot less, and it starts kind of feeling more awkward. Where when it's happening or it's presented to you or any of that kind of stuff, you're kind of like, this is weird. Like what? Nah, I'm good. I'm over here. And once you start to get that, and then you find somebody and you're honest with somebody, then it changes things. I really think it does. And I think that comes with age and experience and knowledge and all that kind of stuff. And also not doing drugs. I think that comes with that as well.
True.
That comes with that as well.
True.
So before we like wrap this up, I think there's
after my drug story. Wrapping it up.
Yeah.
Well,
nice segue there.
Nice segue. He's good with that.
Honestly, I think there's one question that I have for you guys that he busts my balls on constantly. Okay.
Okay.
Shorts on stage. Is that okay?
Oh no.
Oh. It depends on if you ask my husband. Oh no. I mean, it's so funny.
If you're in AC/DC.
Or Anthrax. I mean, in when Anthrax opened up for Ozzy.
Are you an AC/DC Anthrax?
I'm not.
So then
so wait though, because I love the 90s band, and there was nothing better than seeing Chris Cornell in a pair of shorts that were falling down and you could see like the two lines on his groin area. I mean,
I don't have that.
This is a different thing.
I can't imagine Zach wearing shorts on stage, but he wears a skirt. So, I don't know.
Okay, all right. Well,
Mike's 5'3".
No, Dick. It's 5'0".
So
I feel you.
No, it's like 5'7".
Right.
5'7".
But so shorts are capris. So you're on stage.
Shorts are capri.
You're on stage and you're like, hey, check out Calvzilla.
Zach would be all about the calf development. You know what? I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, Dimebag, who's near and dear to our heart, never got on stage with anything but shorts. So I don't know.
You don't look like
as long as they're not shorts. As long as you're not like 70s basketball player shorts.
That's AC/DC is shorts.
So
or Lemmy. I mean, you can't get more metal than Lemmy.
You can't get
and he was known for those ridiculous shorts. I'm sorry.
So
they would look great on Daniella, but Lemmy had no business wearing them.
So let me defend my stance before we say that you're right. I say if you're in a band and you're performing, you shouldn't look like you came up out of the crowd and played a show. I think you should put a little bit more into
superhero outfit on.
Definitely.
Yeah, I get it.
I think that there's people come to see a show. They don't come to listen to it. And so there's something to presentation, and there's something to like, maybe I shouldn't look like I'm wearing what I wear to watch Netflix on my couch. Maybe I shouldn't be in my Spider-Man t-shirt and calf shorts. Maybe I should put a little bit more into it because I'm asking people to pay for a ticket to see me play. And so let me.
Somehow I feel like we're a fly on the wall on your therapy session over here.
I'm feeling the need to defend Mike. I think
which is fine.
If they're camo or they're black, if they if they've got a chain wallet going on,
accessorize.
Yeah, if you
accessorize.
if you have the facial hair, I don't know. I don't think you're going to walk around looking like my kid's baseball coach or something. So as long as you don't look like that on stage,
Thank you,
I think you're
Barbaranne.
okay.
My new favorite person in the world.
We have this all the time because my bands have always been a little bit more of like let's pay attention to the aesthetic
presentation.
And I'm kind of like that weirdo that's
that
like,
mind.
okay, I don't want to see anything, no blue jeans. I want black jeans on stage. I want this, I want that, no shorts.
Yeah.
We need to look like a band. We need to look like we belong together.
Sound like Zach.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what? Zach takes
he's done
the
well
tour.
for himself.
Well, he
He's done
takes
all
the
right.
tour shirts. He'll take the tour shirts from each tour and have the set of them put in the guys' bunks, and that's their uniform for the tour. If he sees another band T-shirt on any of the band or crew during a tour, he will have the biggest meltdown. So I get that. I get it. I get it.
This is why 100 years ago, Zach and I got along for 5 seconds at a bar.
Yeah, but do you remember the way you're talking to wives of like Gilby. Zach always talks about like Gilby always looks like a rock star.
Right.
Gilby
He does. 100%.
always does. He's he's
Got
totally
the
got
hat,
it going.
He's got the vest. He's
The
got
hair, the tie,
hair,
the
everything.
T-shirt. I mean, he's he always looks like a rock star. He looks special. He does not look like your
But
dude.
he also has a rule too. He also like Zach. He has uniform for his band guys. Have to
True.
wear black jeans, black T-shirt.
Yeah, true.
See?
Yeah.
See?
But
Well,
your
see,
uniform, Mike.
I wear black jeans at work all day.
Mike, just say you have the Pantera uniform on, and who is gonna bust your chops trying to beat a dime bag? No one
will.
cooler. No one cooler.
Well, yeah, no one's cooler than that.
Sorry.
He'll still bless my chops, but
Yeah.
you know what? It's a new thing.
Dime was special. He looked like a rock star
Dime
in his
was
shorts. Didn't matter.
You know what?
Calves out,
If
sun's
you-
out.
If you're like a rock
Just
star,
please
you
don't wear
look
socks with like sandals or something.
No.
No Jerusalem cruisers is what Zach calls them. None. No sandals.
No Crocs.
Absolutely.
No.
Crocs and socks, baby. Crocs.
Yeah.
and
No.
socks.
No. 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 No.
Never.
No, I don't do
No.
that.
That
All
is a
right.
no.
So I think we need to tell everybody, like, because this is your episode. This is
Yeah.
our episode.
Yeah.
So you guys go first.
Yeah.
Where can they find
Where
you?
can they find you?
We are Honest AF Show on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and honestafshow.com is our website.
Yep.
And
So
when do
that's
you
how-
guys drop episodes?
Yeah.
We have an episode out every Wednesday.
Yep.
Awesome.
Wednesday morning.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We are Bacon is My Podcast. We have episodes out every single Monday. We have What's Your Bacon in 7 Questions that are out every Wednesday.
Unless it's a bonus episode.
StrangerhoodTV.com if you want to watch the visual episodes of it. If you want to hear the podcast, we're on all podcast networks. If you're on Apple, please give us that 5-star review.
Both of us.
Or don't review
Yeah.
if you have nothing nice to say. Keep it to yourself.
That's true. That's true. If you have nothing nice to say, shut your face.
Unless it's 5 stars, we don't want your review.
Don't
You have
care.
nothing nice to say?
care.
Call me.
Call Daniella.
Yep. Call Daniella at 555-GO F yourself.
Yep.
Yes.
But thank you guys so much for
Thanks,
doing
guys.
your
This was
crossover
fun.
episode that everybody didn't know they needed.
Yeah, this has been awesome. Thank you guys.
It
so
was
much for hanging
great.
out with us.
Sure.
We should do this. We should definitely do this again just so we can hang out again. I think it'll be fun.
Be awesome. Thank you
Sounds
for
good.
having us, guys. It was cool.
Yeah.
No, thank you.